One of our brethren some years ago spoke of the payment of tithing as fire insurance. Nonetheless, the word of the Lord is clear that those who do not keep the commandments and observe the laws of God shall be burned at the time of his coming. For that shall be a day of judgment, a day of sifting, a day of separating the good from the evil. I would venture a personal opinion that no event has occurred in all the history of the earth as dreadful as will be the day of the second coming, as fraught with the destructive forces of nature, as consequential for the nations of the earth, as terrible for the wicked, and as wonderful for the righteous.
'77, which was the number that President Hinckley, as a ghost, came to me, literal history, just like Joseph in the visions, while I was locked up in that psychiatric observation area. Everything ties together, remember? Circumscribed does not mean what the church wants you to think it means. Circumscribed. Dear God, they used the wrong definition. But yeah, Hinckley, that's the dream I had. And while I was being tortured, my rights violated, not found guilty of anything, there I am, getting a dream in which the dead, earlier that year, remember? And yes, sun shall be darkened, moon turned to blood, stars fall from heaven, Wilford Woodruff, verse 11 in the official declaration number 1. It is not in the program of God to deceive Mormons and lead them astray. Yeah, it is. God would take us. Yeah, well, that's how God lets you know that there are false prophets. Sun shall be darkened, moon turned to blood, stars fall from heaven. Every single president of Brigham Young's Danite Church. I did the videos. I did hours, less hours than this, to show you. And so, yes, I'm going to a concert, and it's at a building similar to Rick's old, because Rick's is gone. They built a BYU Idaho on the ruins of Rick's, just like the mosque on the ruins of the Jerusalem temples. They're just like Muslims. And before I went into the auditorium, where I saw it was the basketball stadium where they held devotionals, and it was packed, here comes President Hinckley and his wife, arm in arm, and they come up to me, and Hinckley says, "We don't have tickets to get into this performance. Will you give me yours?" Somehow I had two. I was all by myself, which was common at Rick's too. I thought about getting 2 tickets and then trying to get up the courage to ask a woman to go with me, and I never had the courage. But, and I said, yeah, sure. And I gave him the tickets. And he then, to thank me, gave me the key card to his office. The office of the President of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, who has no authority to touch the Ark of the Covenant in the Salt Lake Temple that used to be there in the celestial room. That was the middle sealing room, which is not used as a sealing room. It's secretly the Holy of Holies, where they often would have a plant put right there in front of the door to keep out curious looky-loos. And so I also had a dream in which I was in the Holy of Holies. I'd never seen inside the Holy of Holies. I knew where it was because I'd been in the Salt Lake Temple in the Celestial Room, and I was told that that's where the Holy of Holies was, but I'd never been inside. I was not a looky-loo. I don't do that. And she remarried. Hold on, let me finish the dream. So did you move out of Dad's house? Anyway, I'm just learning something new here. But I'm now distracted here. And so the key card that he gives me has the number 77 on it. So yeah, 77 years old? Whoa. All of a sudden flashbacks from my associative memory about this dream. And yeah, it's on the 21st of December, the start of winter. Flashbacks. This is weird. And so if you don't know, the church uses key cards now, or they did back in then. They may use fobs now, I don't know, but it was key cards. They changed at the distribution center to key cards. We had to have our ID as our Nazi identification for security purposes, working for them on the 17th and 17th distribution center, because they put in the scanners and you'd have to scan it to clock in and clock out. And so yeah, problems ensue by people forgetting or getting distracted by talking to somebody before scanning in, and then they end up being late to work, even though they weren't late to work, they were just talking with somebody else. And it's just stupid. It's a stupid system, all designed to cause problems and if people don't conform and comply. But nonetheless, key cards. And so the church administration building, not the church office building, as many misunderstand. When I went in at one particular point in time in my life, they had bulletproof glass. And it's not actual bulletproof, but resistant. You understand what I mean. And the center thing is where the door is, that you can open up the door. But you cannot access it except through a key card numbering thing, where you put in the card, punch in the number, which was similar to the distribution center. Scan, and then punch in our number. 77. This was what I saw in the dream. Going down the elevator, many floors, over 200. Because when I checked in the dream, I was going, whoa, this is a long thing. Where did it begin again? And I can only remember seeing that it was at over 200 when it was flying down. And I won't tell you the full details of the two women that were in the elevator. One of them magically appeared later. And then the one that magically appeared came at the end of the dream. And I get to the bottom, it opens up, and I see this office. If you've ever been into the basement level after they remodeled the whole Temple Square for the parking lot underneath, to then also correspond with the conference center parking lot underneath the building, their security station is similar to that. It's behind glass and bulletproof resistant stuff, and a doorway to get in, and likewise a keyed card thing, entry number punching thing to get in. And I went up and said, yeah, I've got the key to Hinckley's office. So one of the guards came out of the booth, that they had their computer screens monitoring things, making sure gay couples aren't kissing on Temple Square to ban them, if you remember that news story. And he goes over and takes the card and puts it in and then punches in the number, and I go in. And I go down the left aisle first, and that's the wrong numbering, going the wrong direction. So I go back and go down the other way. The guard in my head in the dream tells me, you've got 5 minutes. And so then I keep walking, I find room number 88. In the room, it's filled with documents and books and papers, just all stacked on shelves and desks. And I want to go in. I want to go searching through them. That's my thing. And instead, because I only have 5 minutes, I keep on going. And come across to room 77. Then I'm told I only have a few seconds, like 10 seconds. And so I spend several minutes. And dream time is weird. I've tried to calculate dream time by when I go to sleep and when I wake up from the dream, but there are several dreams that occur during a time period. And reality time is slower in the sense that more time occurs than in our brains with the dreams. And so I've not been able to get a precise calculation. It's difficult to obtain. But what happens for about, a 15-minute time frame in a dream could be literally upwards of an hour of sleeping. That's the time frame difference that occurs, and it's weird, and I've not been able to pin down the research on that. But dream interpretation, yeah, I've done that. I'm a dream interpreter, just like Joseph of Egypt. Remember who I am again? And so I'm published on this, even though they're incomplete, but I wanted to get something out there, because I have all this stuff in my mind and all these projects to do and work on. That's just another one of them. And so I went into his room, no papers or books. Again, not intelligent, no authority. And I see a Post-it note on his desk. And so I take the pen and write on it, "Thank you." And then I leave. And then the other stuff that ends the dream. And I knew what it meant. I knew that I was going to have a marriage that would fail and collapse. from my big 86 dream. So I already knew. And then when I saw the fields of canola coming home from work one day, I went, oh crap. She's going to leave me. And sure enough, I didn't tell her about my dream. I didn't do anything to, no. I knew it was going to happen. And so, yeah, sad times all around. But Tiffany got remarried. She does not have her ex name. And she married a P with the P. Not a P, or not a Thompson without the P. Which is who I married. Interesting. The other two girls are still married to their husbands. Yeah, Terwin must remain married to him because she owes him. He invested in her, and she strung him along. She owes him. She cannot leave him or betray him. God, the things we do for love. So yes, the 10th. And so yes, I'm 10 days after 9 months. So, firstborn. And she's a taller woman and a bigger frame as a result also. And so yeah, she had no problems with me being 9 pounds 6 ounces. That twilight morning. 5:34, 6, somewhere around there. I have to find my birth certificate. It better have made it. It's going to piss me off if that was with my mother's letter. God. So anyway. I told you that my dad was the one who named me, because my mom most likely wanted to name me Elvis. And so gave her 2 other options to choose. She has her free agency. She can choose. He knew she didn't like those names, because they used to argue all the time. President Benson says that you have to obey me. No, he didn't. You have to be obedient in righteousness. Oh yeah, well let's go attend conference together and find out who's right and who's wrong. And then we'll go out and get ice cream afterward. Okay, since you're paying for it, and it's the only way I can get you to give me free stuff, I'll go. But you're wrong. That was their dating. Oh. And then my dad, he graduates from the University of Utah as he's my mom's home teacher. And says, I graduated, I'm going to Berkeley to continue my education. Are you coming with me? That was his proposal. He's so hilarious, isn't he? And so, yeah, still small voice, not a feeling, told my mom, oh, right, there was that family home evening lesson where he brought his genealogy over and left it behind. And then the spirit told her that you're going to be doing his genealogy one day. And she said, no, I'm not. I'm only going to do mine and my husband's. Yeah. Everybody claims she's smart because she went to BYU Hawaii and went on a mission. Dumber than a brick. Right, Todd? She was the one who told them to play the religion card. And I just, unbelievable. Her name is Judy. Judith. Judah. Judas. The betrayers. She betrayed me too. Assisted with the erasing of my history. from the church. We're not finished, are we? So that's Jupiter, Revelation chapter 12, verse 5. The man-child, Jupiter. Smitten by the vivid shaft of Jupiter. And so, yes, the one mighty and strong does battle with Nelson. And we are. Nelson does battle with me, and you don't realize it. He calls himself the Antichrist. He denies me to you. But you don't know it, because he doesn't want you to know who I am. He can't. Because then people would side with me and not with him. It's all a power trip thing for him. Dear God. And all they who are not found written in the book of remembrance. The false prophet. Where do you think this comes from? They won't reference it here. Deuteronomy 18. The man like Moses, the Jewish Christ in the Jewish law. And verse 20. Boom! Nelson, the false prophet. Where, if he says something and it doesn't come to pass, oops, sorry, Nelson. Your next hitmen seem to have failed. And watch, there's going to be something later on today. But it's supposed to be a thief in the night. Dear God. So we've passed the 2-hour mark. Going on 6 hours now. And so, yeah, I'm going to have to do some adjusting here. I need to bathe and shave. I need to watch the news and then uploading and segmenting the videos into files. And it's going to be a weekend-long process here. So I'm doing the work for all weekend long. We're going to have Hinckley's clip in every one of them. John Wick's Bloodline song in all of them in the description below, just so that you know. So we're going to put all these things hidden in the files here. These are songs I need to find out after watching The Expendables. And so this is important to understand the full context here. This is Joseph prophesying in the learning of the Jews, using the same scriptures, the same patterns of prophecy. And even his visionary account, the second vision, verse 40, he tells us about our Christ. He's referencing you to Acts, which comes from Deuteronomy 18, 15 through 19, the Jewish Christ. And he says, this is our Christ. And Joseph is telling you he's a Mormon. Section 103, verse 16. Mormon. The Book of Mormon tells you he's going to be a Mormon from this Joseph Smith guy, whose name is the same as mine and the same name as his father. 2 Nephi, chapter 3. Joseph Smith Sr. wrote that, but still. He's using that to tell you that the Christ of Mormons is going to be a Mormon. Not Jesus. Even though you see Jesus in 3 Nephi 11, it's not Jesus. It's still me. And so Jesus in 3 Nephi 20:23 says it's me. The Deuteronomy prophecy, the one like Moses. It's so easy once you use the learning of the Jews. Get rid of your Christian bias, but it's just too damaging on your brain. It literally blinds you to see the truth, to see what's simple and amazing, how accurate a prophet Joseph Smith Sr. is. Dear God. But yeah, they're failing big time. 9/11 in the Jewish calendar, and still nothing. They failed as a thief in the night. Nothing. And it's 9 hours ahead in Israel. It's now 8 o'clock in the evening in Israel. It's now the next day. They blew it. Did they even get the hostages? This is the third time I'm checking now on this 6-hour tour. Hostage swap Israel. Hamas releases first group of hostages in Gaza ceasefire. So they did go through with it. The first group, which I think they were only going to do like 13. And there are Jews cheering, as there are other Jews who are saddened that it wasn't their family. God. So it's supposed to be a 4-day ceasefire, so stages of releasing of the hostages, and in exchange for the prisoners. Dear God. So yeah, Wall Street Journal is reporting 2 hours ago. Once the hostages arrive in Israel, Israel authorities are set to release a group of Palestinian prisoners. Good for you. Made up of young men, young women, and teenagers. Interesting. Do you see that? Palestinian prisoners, women and teenagers were fighting against Israel. Palestinians, not Hamas. Do you see this? Hamas is asking for Palestinian prisoners of women and children. Oh, they weren't involved. They're innocent. Bleep you, you Islamic terrorist. God. Unbelievable. But I told you, this is religion. This is a holy war to them. All Israel, or Islam around the world, are enlisted till the conflict is o'er. Happy are they that Hamas bombed Israel. All this crap about, oh, we don't like Hamas, they're mean and they don't represent Islam and blah, blah, blah. No, crap. They're lying to you. Because, God, we are witnessing that they are lying to us with this war. That's why the children were still in the hospitals. That's why the women are still having babies in the hospitals and didn't leave a month ago. That's why those preemie babies, they were supposed to all be at the Egyptian border if they were truly innocent, because Hamas is hiding among them. The men should have done what the Ukrainian men did and stood their ground and said, no, Russia, this is not your land. You are terrorists. Get out. And they're fighting for their land. Even women and children are fighting for their land in Ukraine. But nope, it's a different story in Gaza, where Hamas is Russia, and they are the terrorists, and they are in Gaza, among the people. They got the tunnels. We've all seen the tunnels. All the news did reports. Oh, this is the tunnels of Hamas. They're right there in the city. And the people aren't fighting Hamas. They let them exist. Hamas shops at the shopping centers in Gaza. They have the water and the food with the Palestinian Gazans. And we're supposed to believe the Gazans all of a sudden that, oh, they're not like Hamas, they're different, and they're not. God, it just pisses me off that Islamist reporters are lying to us and everybody's believing them. Okay. And then Anna denies the videos of the Israelis. They're fake! They're not real! Death to Israel! Anna, what are you doing? I liked you. You turned into the first wife, and the second wife also, but not to the extreme. Sort of. Why, women? Why? But yeah, the prophecies of 2 wives, yeah. 2 failed marriages. Cha-ching! Prophecy fulfilled. In my life, great. And so, all they who are not found written in the book of remembrance, the law of God, same book, shall not find inheritance in that day. That's why Nelson revealed it to us. And it's a false accusation of Nelson. And so Deuteronomy 19 kicks in. Deuteronomy 19. For false accusers, they get the punishment that they had accused of the victim. And so Brigham Young, with Nelson bringing it out, saying this is the book of the law of God, all these descendants will get an inheritance in Utah after we take over the United States and establish Deseret again. Jesus. And Jesus is so mighty and powerful, isn't he? Look at all the work he's doing. And so he's saying that those of you who have apostatized against the church, who have left the church, who are not paying your tithing, who are excommunicated, not just the heathen who never joined the church, because they rejected the 72,000 missionaries who lied to you, because they are not intelligent. All of us are going to be murdered, cut asunder, cut off. Verse 40 says precisely as it stands in Acts. What's in Acts? Destroyed. Brigham Young has turned this around. Nelson is bringing it up. He's making a false accusation now. And thus it gets turned back on Nelson, as it did for Brigham. And we're waiting. And we're waiting. And we're waiting. And we're still waiting. And April 2024 is it. And we're still seeing that they're waiting and they want to drag it on into the 2024 election and scare us and threaten us and to murder us with Trump taking over again. That he's going to get revenge and there will be collateral damage. Oh, dear God. All because we didn't do the right thing and follow the Constitution. I was all alone, going back to Zarahemla as Captain Moroni with the Standard of Liberty, the title of liberty. And not a single Mormon went with me. Instead, they went there and were arrested for cooing the church like their third great Danite grandfathers did in 1838. Cooing the government, cooing the church. And so, yes, the book now gets used against you, Mormons, who are evil. And you are going to be destroyed, apparently, but... God. And so, yes, I get to do this 6-hour video. And could go on to 7, 8, 9, 10. So, yes. This is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 3 days to make all these segments for you. I'm just doing them all early. And all they who are not found written in the book of remembrance, cut asunder, cut off, destroyed, utterly destroyed. the abomination of desolation, the day that shall burn as an oven. Among unbelievers, because they who have apostatized are the Danites. They are the unbelievers. They don't believe in the learning of the Jews. They replaced it with Christian. Jesus. See what's going on here? Joseph Smith is brilliant. And there will be crying and sarcasm. A person tried to use psychology on me to claim that a person who uses psychology is unintelligent. Sarcasm is the greatest form of communication that expresses communication at multiple levels. That's why the Simpsons are just brilliant. No, psychology lies to you to make you think that using sarcasm is a lower form of human communication. That's usually by those who get criticized with sarcasm, who say such things. And so, yeah, Joseph Smith, we're not done yet. We got 3 more verses, and then we got to tell you about my future. As I've already been telling you, the next week, the rest of the weekend, I'm doing segments of this. Because, God, the whole day. It's already 11:30. Dear God. These things I say not of myself, and you do not understand if I hadn't mentioned it in this conference week, that the reason why they're attacking is, I do recall having mentioned this, is because they're thinking in Christian Islamist interpretation to attack Israel, to cause all this. That's why they're doing it. And, man, still haven't had breakfast, still served. No, I don't need to shave, I guess. I can let today go, because I shaved yesterday. And I don't have a woman in my life, so I don't need to shave. All is lost. I'm still waiting for my angel, and I guess I have to wait till Zion, but I can never fully trust her because we just have a shared feeling of survival and being together in Zion. Trauma does not make for the best relationships, but they make for great sex, I understand. I would never know. I only had sex 3 times. And so, yeah, the learning of the Jews fulfillment is for the Mormon Church. Because that's the false prophet and me. It's for the Mormons. The destruction is not supposed to be for the Jews, but you can see that they're causing it for the Jews. And so I don't know how it's going to happen for the church. I see the prophecies, but it can't be God, because Joseph Smith says specifically, they that come shall burn them. It's a dualism, but until it actually happens, I can only repeat the prophecies for you. And, I can make speculative, educated guesses, but nobody's going to believe me if nothing happens today. All this video work is in vain if nothing happens today. Because Mormons aren't going to believe. They're going to be stuck in their Jesus beliefs and continue to move on like that. And so they who are of the high priesthood, the apostles, the prophets of the 12, and the first presidency that have no authority to touch the Ark of the Covenant. Get your hands off. It's mine. Hinckley gave me the key card. From Numbers chapter 6, Numbers chapter 12, verse 6. Visions. Joseph Smith, first vision. That's his authority. Me, Hinckley, my authority. Those dreams, or that dream that I had is my first vision dream, authority, giving me authority. And sure enough, after that dream, I then got revelation as to how to build Zion. Everything about Zion. Not just the religion and the rituals, redesigning the temple, and the ceremonies and the rituals, but everything with the government, the economy. It's followed the Book of Mormon. I've had people try to say, oh, I can help you with the economy. We can have this kind of economic system. Book of Mormon under priestcraft tells you no monetary system of economy. Because a monetary system of economy of necessity leads to the division between rich and poor. No monetary system of economy. Not a barter, not a trade, nothing. The resources on the earth are already here for us, assuming that they don't go extinct by the hand of evil men. And so all you have to do is do the work to get them. But you don't have to be a slave laborer to do it. We have the technology to create robots, to create I can't think of the word now. Not animated, not motion. So frustrating. It's right there. Amazon does it. They have all these machinery that automatically does all the work for their employees. And he wanted to not have employees and just have all these machines doing our orders and sending them off. No humans. And so, yeah, you hear the news about how he would force humans to pee at their station because they're not allowed a bathroom break. Dear God, he really hates humans. Bezos and Musk, the neo-Nazi, dear God. And nobody's stopping these guys. They're just becoming rich and powerful, but not like the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They are the overseeing big brother. Their wealth, you think 100 billion is amazing? That's petty change to what they actually have. That's just for tithing. Dear God, guys, come on, pay attention. I know what I'm talking about here. See, I hear the Forbes trying to claim that there are people who are now becoming trillionaires, and I'm going, yeah, you don't know the church, because they don't report it, because they're 501c3. There it is. They're exempt from paying taxes, and so that's all they do. They don't report where anything comes from. They don't report what they make. They don't report where they launder the money to in offshore bank accounts. They are filthy rich. And they cover it up by telling you the vending machines that are already out now and in the Philippines. We're stealing money from the people of the Philippines. That too follows the same process as Ensign Peak Advisors. They have an LLC company for the vending machines that's separate from Ensign Peak Advisors. And they too invest in the stock market, violate the SEC rules, and violate IRS for 501c3 to be a tax exempt status. And they collect interest. And continue to hoard the money, and none of it is used for charitable purposes. And yeah, they'll do a token thing, like say, oh, here, little kid, here's a wallet, so that you can put your tithing in it and give it to your bishop. And Mormons think this is awesome. The church is true. It's Danites from the Book of the Law. And so, yes, whose names are not found written in the Book of the Law. Where's your name, Nelson? Brigham, where's yours? But now it gets used against them because Brigham Young falsely accused Joseph and did his own economy. Secret combination economy. Secret combination religion. Secret combination government with the Council of 50. Secret combination economy. Can you not figure this out? This is the bombshell of this ledger. Nelson is saying this is the fulfillment of Joseph's prophecy, and it's a lie. It's a false accusation. It is a list of the Danites. It is a list of those who are not to be found in the book of the law of Zion. That's the fulfillment. Is those who are worthy and righteous and not have to pay tithing. You get to do what you want to do. You get to have all your needs met simply by contributing the surplus of whatever you choose to do with your life to the storehouses of Zion. Just like Malachi, but not tithing anymore. It's now the law of consecration. And so, food. We have to remove humans, but for the analogy, yeah, because food can pollute it and corrupt it. So, mechanical automation. There it is. Automation. God. Robotic technology. That can do the labor, the hard labor, to obtain the resources for farming. We don't need to have slave labor for this. But if you want to learn how to farm, yeah, go right ahead. We will have people who submit into a computer file so that everybody can have access to it, not connected to an internet so that Russia can hack it and put the church's Joseph Smith papers hacking on it. Freeze my computer, you bastards. And so, yeah, there'll have to be some security measures that fix the problems that nobody else wanted to fix because they purposely wanted us to be hacked on purpose for the AI thing. Yeah, it's so that they can control us and monitor us and blacklist us. So all of that gone. This will be good. This will be a paradise society. And so, yeah, you make stuff, whether it's food, whether it's clothes, toys, furnishings, art, music. You have what you need of the what you make for you and your family, however you want to have it. And then you give the rest to the storehouse. That's all you're required to do. There is no quota of how much you have to make, and you have to make it within a certain time frame. See, like working for Beehive Clothing, those women get carpal tunnel being forced into slave labor at the sweatshop. Oh, but they have air conditioning. Not the ones in the Philippines, where the children also work. And it's a different economy out there. The children have to work because of the poor economy. You just said you're a child slave labor camp in the Philippines. Oh my God. And so, yeah, none of that. Those women are forced to have so much done. They get paid by royalties of how much they get done. And if they are not a fast sewer, and they have people who check them. Nope, you did this wrong. This does not count. You don't get paid for this. It's got to be redone, or it's got to be thrown away, and a new one has to be put in the box. They're that strict there. Those women suffer. And no, none of that anymore. You are free to do what you want and be happy with what you want. You actually can get an education for free in whatever you want to learn about. Intelligence, not feelings. I'm graduated with feelings. I saw in the news that they no longer are doing testing anymore. Oh dear God. It's too stressful. Can't test anybody anymore. It's just a pass-fail. Yeah, I got a PhD. I passed. So, will you be a surgeon now? Okay, I'm a PhD and I'm a medical doctor. He's got internal bleeding next to the... Where's that? What do you mean, where's that? Aren't you a medical doctor, surgeon, with a PhD? Well, of course I am. And you don't know the human anatomy? Well, no, it was too stressful to take the test, so I didn't have to take them. They're seriously being released out into the public and then now running businesses. Oh, dear God. And so, yeah. And so that's all it is. Whatever you like to do, the excess gets contributed to the storehouses. That's it. That's all. And so, yes, if you want to get an education, yeah, it's understood. You're getting an education. You're investing in Zion. That will get you to actually do things as an apprentice type stuff in education. Because yes, at first you have to do the book learning to learn all about it, and there can be video presentations to help you with whatever assignment and so forth and whatever. But yeah, it's that simple. And you don't have to worry about other things. No monetary system. You've contributed to the storehouse. And it's in a warehouse where if we run low on a certain amount of product, that we need it refilled. And so the basics of food, clothing, and furnishings and stuff will have to be taken care of, but automation, robotic technology can handle that hard labor work to get it done and get it done quick. And then we are going to get to 3 hours, aren't we? But yeah, this is what that passage in 2 Nephi 26 is talking about. No monetary system of economy. And everything you need, you get, because you're contributing. You're in the book of the law of Zion. But Nelson, he revealed those who are apostates, Danites. They will be cut off from the church, verse 11. Or that have found to have apostatized. Those are the Danites. They apostatized. They, when pressured by the Danites, denied Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon. They're out. They don't get to go. Sorry, Avraham. You caved. You think you were protecting your family to stay employed with the church, to keep your membership in the church for your family, and you now have apostatized and will be cut off from the church of the Lamb for Zion. And the lesser priesthood with the little boys. Deacons now are 11 years old and regular members. Anybody who betrays Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon in the learning of the Jews, you're gone. You don't get to come in. We're still waiting for what to happen. In that day they shall not find an inheritance among the saints of Emmanuel, the Most High Sun God at noonday. Me. I'm telling you here, this is the prophecy. This is how it's going to work. If you don't like it, you don't have to come. You can stay with Nelson. But you're not obeying him and marrying 11-year-old girls for polygamy. Therefore it shall be done unto them as unto the children of the priests, of the priest, as well will be found recorded in the 2nd chapter and 61st and 2nd verses of Ezra. So they did footnote this correctly. Kind of had to. Can't hide this one from us. And the children of the priests. That's why I said priest rather than priest. But you see that it's Nelson in the singular, the false prophet. The children of... This is the English version of the Hebrew. There's some errors here. And so I'm not even going to try to say it. It's children of 3 different people, which took the wife of the daughters of the same people, the Gileadite, and was called after their name. These sought their register among those that were reckoned. And think of Numbers, the book of Numbers. That's what it is. It's accounting. This is the ledger. This is Ezra's. What he's doing here is the book of Numbers for Ezra. This is the ledger, the book of the law of God. This is the numbering of those who are saints and not Danites. Danites don't get to come. In this ledger, I now know you. You can't sneak in now. You can't give unto me the names, signs, and tokens of the holy priesthood and fool your way into the celestial kingdom. Critics love to point that out. Hilarious. Reckoned by genealogy, the pedigree for missionaries. Danites, you got to show you're a Danite on the law of God, the book of the law of God. But they were not found. Oh, nope, you're a Danite, you apostatized. Sorry, Governor Cox and your family and your children and your ancestors. Sorry, Curtis, Stewart, Lee, Cook, all the high priesthood. Sorry, you don't get to come. You've apostatized. You are lying to Mormons. You are denying the truth to Mormons. You are sons of perdition. You don't get to come. Therefore, they as polluted, put from the priesthood, which they had already had amen all the way back to Brigham Young. Section 121, while Joseph Smith was in Liberty Jail. So, there you go. Doctrine and Covenants, Section 85, the Book of the Law of God. I think that's how we should title it. D&C 85, Book of Law of God. And then it'll be a 6-part series, because we're 12 minutes away from being shut down on this video. I hope it should have. I hope. That would be a horrifying thing to find out after 6 hours all of this was in vain. Because that then ruins my day and then ruins the weekend that I had planned. So, alrighty. So, yeah, my future, the immediate future, this is what I'm doing for the whole rest of the weekend, is separating out these videos and making videos for them, using Hinckley's video clip in every single one of them, John Wick's Bloodline in every single one of them in the description below for the theme song. Every one of them will be titled DNC 85 Book of the Law of God series. It'll have a separate playlist for you to go to, and you won't. But that's why I'm doing them in one at a time. So this first one will just be for today. The first hour just for today. And then there's just going to be people who didn't watch the first one who come to the second one because YouTube only recommends the second one and not the first one, or the third, or the sixth. Not the first ones or the previous ones. And so, this is a continuation. I'm still debating as to whether I should put a short video segment to explain the sequels. We'll see. I don't know if it'll just be text, maybe. I don't know. But it will have part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so that you aren't confused. But you will, because you don't read, you don't pay attention. You don't look at the pretty picture memes of sarcasm to understand them. And so, yes, the picture will be the Book of the Law of God that they print out for you. But, oops, only those of you who have been watching the full series will know what it means. It's the Book of the Danites who've apostatized. Who don't get to go to Zion. And so, other than that, after this weekend, because of the overwhelming stress, I came to the realization that next morning, which was yesterday morning, wasn't it? That when I wake up in the morning, priorities come first. And not worrying about whether I get to all this other stuff. Just making sure the priorities. I need to have the record of the history of the people. That's essential to have. And that's why I spent all yesterday getting the Book of the Law, so that I can fulfill prophecy, if it ever happens, to kick out the Danites and all those who have attacked me over the years. My dad, my family. Nope, you don't get to go. Sorry, Todd. You chose wrong. And so everybody, Gail Miller, nope, you don't get to go. And those that work there at the shelter, nope, you don't get to go. Everybody in the Salt Lake County Jail, nope, you don't get to go. And one of the guards was a temple worker, an ordinance worker. He saw me every day. He knew I was righteous. He knew I was being framed. He didn't understand why I'm there. He tried to sneak me an apple one day. Oops, he got fired. I was literally fed moldy food. They tortured me, remember? Shurtleff, nope. Vernice Treese, judge, nope. All the federal judges, nope. Cox, I already said him. Herbert, nope. Huntsman, nope, sorry. You're not Mormon anymore, but nope, not you too. Dumbass. And so yes, the bishops, Reed Hammond, the branch president, nope. Lester the child molester Nielsen, nope. You don't go. And there's a lot of people on the list who don't go. All of them have attacked me. They don't get to go. There are no fruits of repentance from any of them. They don't get to go. Is this too complicated to understand? Are you still thinking I'm the bad guy? I'm being mean. Do you not understand this concept? Wickedness never was happiness. You can't commit crime and just say, oops, sorry. Okay, now you have to forgive me. Or you're the greater sinner. No, it's not how it works. If you steal something, you gotta give it back. You can't just say, oh, sorry. And to show the fruits of repentance that you will never steal it again, you've got to give more. You probably have to buy a whole new thing for them that you stole because you've worn it down, you've depreciated the value. And there are some things you cannot replace, like an heirloom, a family heirloom. If you destroy a family heirloom, you can't replace that. And so there are things that are difficult to repent of. You know, like murder. Can't be done. And there are justice that is required for punishment for these crimes. You cannot get mercy to deny justice. You have to, watch the time, you have to trust that the Book of Mormon knows what it's talking about. So, yeah, after this, I don't know if I'm going to be retired again and just do go back to the Book of Mormon series if nothing happens at all, as it appears that it isn't. Because I have no idea now when the next date will be. I don't know if it'll be next year. I don't want to do this with 4 minutes left on the clock. We'll just say 8 April. No, it's taking too long. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm looking for Passover for next year, and I think it's after 8 April. It's later on in the month of April, from what I remember. And so, yeah, I have to go with what we have. So, after this series, if I do a video from the pile, or if I get new stuff, I'll still be checking the church news, or whether I'm just going to do a Book of Mormon video, whatever, but I'm going to be pretty much retired again. Because the church's assassins again failed. And so, if they're not going to get their date right of when they're going to attack, I can't wait for them. So, I've got things to do, lots of projects to get caught up on and do before Zion. So, alrighty, go from there. And so, yes, obviously, if there's news like the Ledger, I'll bring it up and talk about it and come out of retirement, like I did for conference, and then the Armageddon War started. So, alrighty, there we go. Hoping nothing more is left, as we're now down to 2 minutes, 4 minutes left.